got the heat.
This is the reason why this is going on. They lack the skills to be able to handle the stresses and adversities of life and the anger boils up because of some type of injustice they feel. This is where our anger usually comes from. They lack the ability to think through and handle the problem with words or handle the problem by rationalizing. And you personalize everything when you go on through trauma. Everything is real personal. Everything is about you. Everything is a purposeful event as to why the biscuits was cold and whatnot, and why I can't do nothing. They acting like it's okay, and you are irrational. When you see people like that, they suffer from trauma. They need a hug. They need somebody to talk to rationalize that thing. I done figured it out. It's like I have figured out my purpose for living. I have figured out why I live and breathe, why God created human beings. I figured out why he created the seas and the oceans and the sunshine every day. I figured it out, and I love it. There's something that has clicked that I can't go back because I understand who I am. I understand my identity. I understand I am free to be the person I want to be. I am not held or beholden to events, situations, environments, titles that others might want to place upon me. And it is not my job to please everybody. It is my job to be who I am. And who I am is good enough. And that's a feeling that you can't give nobody. That's a feeling the person got to have for themselves. And that is the purpose of parenting. That is the purpose of mentorship. That should be the purpose of school.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to our show. I am Kimberly Shinneberg coming to you live from Northern Virginia. Now, y'all know I be trying to compete with that sunny Florida weather with Dr. Nicole, but it got us today, y'all. We cold and drabby up here today. I'm so
sad. And I am Dr. Nicole down here in sunny Florida. So we had a little bit of rain, but it went away and it was still hot. So yeah, we've had 87 to 90 degree weather in the last couple of days, but I'm sorry.
Good evening, everybody. I am LaVonda Johnson here in Birmingham, Alabama, and I am so excited. I'm kind of emotional just listening to that clip. I'm so excited about tonight's guest. He is somebody that we have all listened to for probably over a year now. We all are part of a mindset call that we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for a bulk of that time, we've been listening to some of the recordings that were done with Mr. Fields. He's somebody that I admire so much. He has a lot of knowledge. I'm not going to try to tell his story, but I'm so excited to have him on board this evening. So give me and him a warm welcome as I welcome him to Serendipity tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lewis Fields.
Hello.
Wow.
Dr. Cole, hello.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's just jump into it because I want to make sure we take advantage of the time that we have because you have so much information to share. And I love listening to you. I do the replays on the Mindset calls a lot. But your calls are the ones that I usually always migrate to when I need some encouragement and strength because you just accomplished so much in your life. But tell me about what we listened to in the clip about how you made the connection between basically emotional intelligence or lack thereof and learning and how that can lead to anger and incarceration.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Hello to everybody out there. So at the age of 19, I was incarcerated for taking a young man's life during a drug deal. So I did 23 years in prison. While in prison, I always wanted to question, how did I get here? How did I get here? I had to figure out, how did I get to prison? So along that journey is when I put together the link between lack of education and the inability to control one's emotions, regulate one's responses in social settings. So when I say education, I'm not talking about the generic going to school. I'm not talking about going to school. Going to school is cool. Going to school has a purpose. It has a place. There's nothing wrong with going to school. School is a platform really that teaches you the rules of verbiage, history, basic arithmetic. So the question is, how do you make a human being, able to socialize and handle adversities? That's not what school is for. And this is why we overload these teachers, and we saying they bad teachers, or the kids bad, the parents bad, police bad. There's a missing link. That link is that social and emotional intelligence that Lavonda spoke of. So when I found out that I couldn't read, I started challenging myself and reading different types of literature, things that were serious, things that were about interpersonal development. From there, I started improving my ability to regulate my emotions, to regulate my responses, because my vocabulary was going up and my human understanding of my identity and myself. Then later on in my incarceration, I found out about PTSD and trauma, childhood trauma, the effects of events on certain individuals, because all traumas are different. We can all be in a car right now. 4 of us could be riding a car. You have a car accident. I walk away from it. I don't care nothing about it. I don't talk about it. I don't think about it. I'm glad we alive. I want a cheeseburger. You know, Dr. Nicole, now she talking about I ain't riding no more cars. I got to get a truck. You know, I don't feel safe. I got to be off the ground because the car could have killed us. Kimberly goes schizo. She loses. She loses. I'm sorry, Mike. It's okay. You lose it, because then Lavonda, on the other hand, blames everybody else in the car. I knew he was late. We was moving too fast. Lewis, you should have got the shower on time. That's why this happened. So all 4 of us had these different responses to the same event. There's a quote. I don't know who said it. I'm terrible with giving credit to quotes. I think it's a dude named Epictetus or something. It's like an old Greek quote or something. Adversity introduces one to himself. When you are faced with a challenge, the only thing that can come back is who you are. Just like they say, when you get money, you don't change. You just become the person you really are 10 times more. If you were generous, if you were caring when you was broke, if you get $20 million, $100 million, you're going to be generous and you're going to be caring when you got the money. You're going to be the same person. You was petty and I'm happy. You're going to be that person even more now because you got money. So when faced with whatever the challenges or barriers in life are, we introduce to ourselves. So the key is identity. The missing links are identity, getting to the point. When you look at education, because education is about drawing something out that's already in a person. Learning through the school system is about, I'm going to give you these books. You look at these books, and when I tell you to recall at the end of the week or in 2 weeks, or write a report on this, tell me what I need to hear so I can give you this mark that says you're approved. That's what school is. That's not education. Education is to draw out. I can't teach a person, I know Socrates said that. You can't teach a person nothing. All I can do is present the evidence and allow you to self-journey and understand what's already in you. That's what education is, to draw out, which is already in you. So that is how I put those 2 things together.
Wow. I just want to say before I pass the ball to Miss Kimberly, what you described about trauma is exactly true. And I actually had that experience. My sister and I were hit by an 18-wheeler. She was driving. She walked away, and a couple of days later, she was at the movies. It took me years, and it's still taking me time to recover from that because we were trapped in the car. I didn't blame her, but in my mind, I felt like I could have done something maybe because I would have been driving. I wasn't in control. So I took it a whole different way than she did. So you're exactly right with that. Kimberly?
First of all, I just want to go and say that you're a fellow Scorpio. You know good and well I want to go on Cisco. I want to want a cheeseburger with you. Now let's get something to eat. I'm hungry. No, I'm playing. So my question to you is, at what point when you were incarcerated were you like, you know what? I want to teach the children in my community how to deal with these types of trauma, or even how to overcome adversity if they get put in the trauma, how to bring that back out.
Okay. The want and desire to teach and lead was always there. I was real big into basketball. I love hooping. I love basketball. So I went from playing, I blew my knee out. I couldn't play how I wanted to play. So then I started coaching. There was my first coaching job. There was a team that was talented. They had me on no game. So The coaches quit on them. They don't listen, whatnot. They let me take over as the coach. First time coaching. And at this time, I had been reading, though. So I'm starting to use the things in the books on the players. So we won our first game. We didn't win 3 games that season. We was like 3 and whatever. But we won 3 games. Those 3 games led to my tutors. So that small success showed me this stuff worked. Because they don't know. I'm going to get this stuff from books. I'm reading Phil Jackson, Dean Smith, The Psychology of Sports. And I'm coming back and motivating them, using it. So that was like my first time really seeing how you can move people with adding value to them to their lives versus me want something from them, trying to build them up. So that was a different concept. So then through the years, once I learned about trauma, I learned about education, I had a platform to start utilizing this through food service. Learned about food and wanted to do more serious things. So I'm gonna share this, and she don't mind me sharing this because she know it's not me talking down on her. So I don't want anybody to misunderstand the purpose of the exercise. My mother and her best friend, like my play aunt, they came to visit me. So this was probably about 8 years ago now. It's about 8 years ago when I was incarcerated. And I told them, I said, I'm gonna help these kids. And she's like, what you talking about? I was like, I'm gonna help kids. Like, I figured some stuff out. Like, I know what it is to be a kid. I know what it is to be lost, to be helpless, not have a voice. And I'm gonna help these kids out. So, and I said, but I'm gonna do it while I'm in here still, though. I'm gonna figure it out. I gotta figure, that was the first, I'm gonna figure out how to do something on the street from in prison. You can't do that. Ain't nobody gonna let you have a kid like that. Ain't nobody gonna let you do that. Now, when it was first said, the old me would have came out, we would have been an argument and visit. We've done that before. We just showed out at visits before. The old me, I just was quiet and I felt like Joseph. I said, the dream wasn't for them. I won't ever talk to them about it again. I'm just gonna do it. So this was the influence and effects of reading. Now, in hindsight, and that's something I'm gonna get to before we leave, I gotta talk about that. That's one of the missing keys. In reflection, they were telling me the honest to God truth. What they were telling me was the real. And Mr. Fleming talks about this a lot and brings it up because it's so true and people don't get it. The Lewis I was that they had known their whole lives growing up to that point was absolutely incapable, incompetent, and could not talk to nobody's kids. And wasn't nobody gonna let no kids be around me because I was a fool. Because that's what they knew of me. They was telling the truth. As that person, I couldn't do it. Was not qualified to do it and shouldn't be doing it. It was the truth. So I had to become something I had never been before. That took hard work. That took interpersonal development. That took trial and error. Falling on my face, scraping my knee, getting back up, and keep on moving. So that was, no, I'm long with it. That's the answer to the question. So that was the first time when I decided I was going to help the kids. I'm so sorry. I'm going to shut up. You're so got
You're
this.
fine. No, you're good. You're good.
I'm talking along with you.
Keep going.
No, but I mean, it kind of went into my my next question where you were saying, so you became a coach while you were incarcerated. And what age was that?
Around a little after 30. A little after 30. I'm 43 now. That was a little after 30. That's when I started running fantasy football leagues. I'm big into fantasy football too. So one of the things I'm most proud of, at first it seemed like some jail stuff, like it was, oh, that's just something you do in jail, stupid. Recreation got to be there in prison. All platforms are what you make them. You make them meaningful. That's why I learned leadership. We got over 1,000 dudes in the joint. I was able to do a fantasy football league for hundreds of people with no computer, without no budget.
With paper and a pencil?
Huh?
You was writing it down, paper and pencil? That's a book. You was a book.
No, it was sanctioned by the joint. It was sanctioned by the joint.
I'm just like
mathematician. A mathematician.
Like, you write down the players. We ran drafts. We had free agency, and to be able to organize that was what was in me coming out.
Okay.
This was the books coming out. The books was cultivating that seed that was in me, and slowly but surely, this was coming out.
So hold on. So real quick. So that was 33 when you were doing that. When you had that visit with your mom and your auntie, at what age were they telling you, oh, you can't do that?
I was probably in my mid-30s. That was about 8 years ago. So I was probably like 35.
Wow.
36.
So this is recently where you were already saying, well, at that point, you were like, no, I'm not quite ready yet. At that point, I'm still not quite ready yet with the knowledge and everything that I was learning from my books.
In reflection, I see they was lying because you're never ready.
Okay.
There is no way to be ready for the next step if the next step is growth. Because a plant, a rose has never blossomed until it blossoms. So you're never ready. You jump off the cliff and you build your wings on the way down. But I knew in my spirit, that's why you got to internalize. I've got to get to that at the end. Give me like 2 minutes of something I got to say. You have to, inside of you, have confidence in you. If you don't believe it, nobody else can believe it.
Right.
You only got to convince yourself. You're the hardest sell. The hardest sell is yourself. That's why I say I convince people of themselves that you worthy, that you can do it.
Okay.
So I knew I could do it because what courage gives you is you too dumb to know better. That's why people do stuff like Amazon. If Bezos would have said, "This is my dream, this is what I want to do," people are like, "You can't do that. That's stupid. Everybody gonna do that." People go to the store and shop. Who's gonna shop online? Frictionless shopping. Who's gonna do that? That don't sound right. Everything sounds stupid when you first start. So you got to be too dumb to know better, and that's what courage gives you. I didn't see all the pitfalls because you don't look at that. You just look at the purpose. I'm gonna climb them out.
Okay.
So I didn't know until in reflection that damn, they were telling the truth. At the time, I thought they were just hating. To be quite honest with you, I guess some haters. But I love them all. Shout out. From what they knew of me, they were telling me the truth.
Gotcha.
I had years of sowing bad seeds, so I had to have years to change to show.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dr. Nicole.
Well, that obviously that takes courage to do that because you are bumping up against the person that you were and people that know you that way, and not knowing who you've transformed into. Not only that, I think that we're out here and people don't believe that they can change or that anyone else can change, and definitely not through reading books. What? Reading a book and you're gonna change? Like what's that? So we bump into that all the time, definitely with the business that we do. And I hear Mr. Fleming, through what you're saying, because he talks about that all the time, that people don't realize that they need to change. They don't realize that they have to take responsibility for who they are. And it really doesn't matter. We seem to equate, responsibility to blame. And that's not actually true. You're taking responsibility because if you spilled the milk still has to be cleaned up. It doesn't matter who spilled it. So somebody has to take responsibility for cleaning it up. So, I've heard you say before that you had to go through stages in order to get to where you are. And I think that that's something else people don't like, is that they don't realize that they will have to almost kind of start a little bit over. And I see Miss Lisa Horsley pump on here right at the right time, because she talks about growing a new brain all the time. And that's exactly what you're doing, because you're replacing, things that you knew the way that you knew them as you explore that. So talk a little bit about, like hitting those stages, because from like a pediatrician, when people have to learn how to speak again, or when kids have language delay, they actually have to go through each of the stages. So they have to do mama, dada, and all of that before they start speaking words. When we watch TV, they go from they're not talking for like 5 years and then all of a sudden they're talking again, and that's probably unrealistic. It's TV. So tell us about those stages and realizing like when you were at one and that you needed to bump up to the next one.
Okay. Lord have mercy. I got some type of little thing.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, just don't touch.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. So think about this. Imagine this. Okay. Communication is everything. Because communication is how we interlock and we build with one another, and how society works. Everything works based on communication, certain communication. So if we say a word, the word brings forth an idea, a thought, and a feeling and emotion, and a purpose. So if I say thoughts, you might think thoughts are thinking. Thoughts are not thinking. If I say breath, a breath is not breathing. A thought, everybody has thoughts. Dogs have thoughts. The difference between an organized mind, a trained mind, because this is the answer to your question, is that a trained mind has learned to think intentionally with a definitive purpose. You have taken control of your thoughts. So now you are thinking. You have to be taught how to do it. There are certain times when you will exercise that, because you're human, it'll happen because it's part of being human. But the higher level of human intelligence is to be a thinking, ing, continuous person. Because a thought is not thinking. If I say, when they say he took his last breath, he dead. Because a breath is not breathing. You have to continuously be breathing ing. So, and I stop. Same thing with your thought. Your mind is dead. So therefore your productivity is dead. So how do you develop thinking human beings at any level, from children on up? And I want to jump into this kind of segue. There are missing links. These are things that you're not going to get in school. You're not going to get in business because you're not going to get these things. We all use them. And these are tools to success with their missing links. This is just a few of them I have jotted down. Verification of truth. How do I know what I know and know that it's true? Who questions that? How do I get there? That only comes through reflection and meditation. What is reflection and meditation? No one knows what they know in real time. Like we're having this interchange, this communication. We got all types of thoughts going on. I got to go to work in the middle of the night. I wonder if Earl gonna show up on time. Did I leave the coffee pot on? I hope my daughter doing her homework. I hope dude don't call. All these things are going on, but we communicate. So we gonna have to look back. The only way we gonna know what happened and if it was effective and how bad, what the value is to us is if we reflect. We do not teach kids to reflect on their lives. And to reflect, you have to meditate. So you get up. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So people take pride in how early they get up in the morning. Why? I don't know. It's something that we've been trained to do. So you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So from 4 o'clock in the morning till probably 10, 11 o'clock at night, you run. You at work, you going to meetings, you selling, whatever you is that you do in the course of your life. You got the music on, you got the news on, you got podcasts on, you're talking to people, you're interacting with folks. So now when you get home, you hustling and busting. I got to do the Zoom call. I got to do the podcast. Got to do this. Got to make sure the kids do that. Got to tell them this. I got to call my sister. Damn, I got to send flowers over there. I got to do. You run it. As soon as you turn the music on, you get back in the car. So now you got up at 4 in the morning. You've been busy as you can be. Now it's midnight. Now you about to go to sleep. Or you're going to read. I'm going to read. As Ms. Fleming said, read. I'm going to read 20 minutes. Then I'm going to go to sleep. Then you're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Let you tell me you get it in. When do you stop to meditate and reflect on what you've done in the course of the day? What prison developed, what it made me value in my time. Like I say, I was in segregation for a long time for some stuff. I ain't gonna go back in all that anti-person exercise for right now. That ain't the story for right now. But I've done a lot of time in quiet by myself. This is where I started training my mind to be happy, to be inside eternally with my thoughts, so I can reflect and meditate. You need to stop so you can go forward. If you keep this going, this is another quote. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I made this up or took it from. I don't know. Busyness is the enemy of good thinking. This is one of the truest things I can leave about. Busyness is the enemy of good thinking. You will get much more out of your week if you take a respite. I ain't gonna, it don't even matter. I'm a Christian. God rests on the seventh day. You must have a rest to reflect on what you have done. Was it good? Was it bad? Am I getting to where I'm supposed to be? It's like if you drive it and you never reflect on what direction you're going, where you're headed, you will just continue to go until you go off the cliff. And then you say, I don't know what happened. That's why this is why people say, I tried all that stuff. Mr. Fleming said, they did read the book. They did go out and call 10 people, and then they increased it to 20 people the next day. They did all that, but they never reflected, right, so they can have specialized thought and specialized training. Last thing, missing link, value. Value is everything. How does a kid know what the value is? The new Batman came out. I come with a big shiny box with the new Batmobile, which I love. It looks like Knight Rider. I love Batman. Anyway, so
did you say Knight Rider?
I didn't look at the new Knight Rider. Have you seen the new Batmobile? Have you seen the new one? Anyway, you know Batman is real. Anyway, I got a whole thing for the Batman movie. I just knew it, but ask. Anyway, you stay on topic. So if I tell a kid, give me one of those, and that one of those is a $100 bill, but it's $35 Batmobile, he can go get it at any Walmart. He does not understand value because he's 3 years old. He sees something he wants, so he'll trade what he thinks he wants in the moment because he doesn't understand value exchange. So how does you learn value exchange when you're talking about from a human standpoint? Because there's two sides to value. You have judgment. How do I judge and determine value? And how do I exercise value? Exercising value goes into identity and purpose. I have to be able to judge value and then exercising value. Okay, I can do 2 more hours towards my business or whatever I'm trying to accomplish, or I can value this 2 more hours. I'm gonna take an hour to read this book, which will help me be a better communicator. And then I'm gonna take an hour of respite, of meditation and relaxation, which is probably gonna get me further than the 2 more hours of me on the internet, because I'm not even reflecting on, well, how do I value time? Because we think time is money. It's not. We think time should be used to grind and hustle. It's not. You're wasting time by doing that, because you're gonna get more out of time by building to yourself. You are your most.
So you're frozen. So I love.
Well, back.
Yeah, there you go. You're back.
I'll set up there. Okay, but no, those are some of the missing links.
That's because you talked about that Batman card too often.
Reflection and meditation and value, judging value, and being able to work and exemplify value, because the science of getting rich, wobbles, cold. We talk about the Eskimo and the guns. Y'all hip? Okay. If I go and I try to bring you something, okay, Dr. Nicole, you a doctor. I come and I bring you some engines. I'm gonna tell them to give you each engine at $5. I'm not offering you anything of value, so I'm not doing you any good. Because this is not your craft, this is not your discipline. So the engines don't have real value to you. I'm doing you a disservice. So everybody want to jump out, like when I want to help the kids and do good. That's why I had to learn, how can I bring value to families and children? What is really my niche? My niche ain't necessarily dealing with kids, it's dealing with the parents of kids to improve upon the relationship. It's dealing with the teachers, dealing with the police that deal with kids to bridge the gap. That's really where I add my value, but it affects the kids, it's the outcome. So those are the missing links: verification of truth, reflection and meditation, and value. Judging value, exercising in value. That is how you're happy. When you are exercising in value, that's when you're happy. That's when you can do stuff and there's no burden to it, because you're working at purpose now. That's why you were created. So I'll shut up now.
Awesome. No, that's good stuff.
I didn't cuss. Yeah. That's fine.
You did.
Actually, I caught one.
Yeah, that was one in the beginning.
I caught one.
You got you said the one.
It's all right. I'll tell you about it later. I'll tell you about it later.
I'm sorry.
Repeat it. No, you're good. You're good. Because you're real. So Lisa Horsley actually brought up exactly what I was going to talk about. You have to slow down to go fast. That's what that statement means. It means you need to look back at what you've done. You need to take time to examine that. You need to, a lot of times we're actually taught only to look back at things that we got wrong and not to look at how we got something right, because a lot of times it could be by accident that you got it right. So you need to look at both of those. You do need to take time to reflect on those and see, okay, what did I do right? I talked to, people about weight management about this, okay, what was good about your week? Why did you stay on track this week? Why, because we need to be able to duplicate that. If you don't go over it, then you just think that you know, and you don't really know. So you just go on, right, and then next week you have a bad week because you didn't make the good choices that you made last week, but you didn't think about what you did last week because it was perfect, and you lost the weight that you wanted to, and now this week, now you're talking about you gained 10 pounds, and I'm trying to figure out what happened because we didn't look at that. So that's a very, very good point. The book is escaping me. Olson. The slight edge.
Oh, yeah.
So the slight edge, that's what he talks about. Actually, he's the CEO of the previous company that I was with. And so he's the author of that book. But that slight edge talks about, you got to slow down to go fast. You got to get good at doing the mundane in order to be good at what you're supposed to be good at, what your goal is. And that's what we get bored at. Well, I don't want to do that anymore because I didn't see the result. And we don't learn how to deal with that. We don't learn how to make the mistake and be okay with the mistake and learn from the mistake. So, I love your perspective. Obviously, you're very, very well read. You, even though you can't remember who quoted whatever, but I'm not good at that part either. I'm so horrible. You would think that a doctor would be good at giving credit because we get taught to do that, like, okay, say where you got that information from and whatever. I have to go over that information. Where did I get that? Where did I read that? Because sometimes you just have so much in your head that you don't remember. But I appreciate you for sharing that and pulling that forward, because it's so important, and so all of us need to do it. Yeah, you were in extreme position, but like you say, everybody's trauma is different and everybody responds to trauma differently. And we don't realize that. We don't realize that maybe how we're responding to it is stopping us from moving forward in other areas of our life, because how we do one thing in one area, we're going to do it someplace else. And that's so critical to people being successful as they deem success. So I appreciate you, Lewis. Good hearing you. Good seeing you.
I want to talk about this Batmobile. First of all, I mean, I did like Batman back when it was good, when Michael Keaton was Batman way back. But I'm a Marvel person, so
is that what you think Batman is way back? Wait a minute.
No, I mean, I'm not Adam West. I'm not Adam West or the kid that far back. But I'm definitely Batman. Michael Keaton. I'm Michael Keaton.
The old Batman,
yeah. I'm Jack Nicholson Joker. I like that.
That's new school, right? Millennial.
That is totally new school.
I like that one. I like that. Not Adam West, but and I'm Marvel, so Batman is not a thing now. But it was like that though. The new movie was like that.
I ain't seen it yet. I'm excited. I'm gonna see it.
You just saw the Batmobile.
I gotta see that. That's the good thing. I gotta see Batman. Okay. Batman could be real. See, we ain't gonna go into that. How out of all this, Batman could be real. He's just a rich dude that got work and got a whole bunch of all the other got an edge. He got some supernatural alien power or something. Batman just a dude that got work and he got a bunch of money. And he leveraged that to do what he do.
All right.
It's true.
That's very true. So you could be Batman.
Batman. I got Batman pants. I do. And a Batman. I will go on.
I'm done with you, Lewis. I'm done
anyway,
with you. No more playing.
Colleagues, one thing. I got one thing to say.
Okay.
As the show cut off, did everybody stop?
Yeah.
I can't.
Uh-oh. Rose up again.
Give him a few seconds.
He'll come back.
Can y'all hear me?
We got
there you go.
Okay. Now. Reading changed my life. Literally reading the proper things, verification of truth. Do you know what you read? Because I talk about the good stuff because I focus on solutions now. But I've been went out. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Have y'all been able to hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hear me? Okay. So I went down some rabbit holes. You do some things. That's how you learn what's a good mentor, a bad mentor. So what's a good book, a bad book? What's good truth, bad truth? Reading is the equivalent. I love basketball. Reading is the equivalent of you buying your son or daughter, a basketball hoop, and they go in the backyard, and they out there, they right now shooting jumpers while it's getting dark. And you're like, look at my baby, you good? I saw you made 10 in a row. Oh yay! They got their new little white LeBrons on and white Jordans, and they just squeaking across the court. They got on all their little gears all clean. They got this shoot. Then you take them out to the park, and as soon as they get out of the park, some little small dude come, snatch the ball from them, go down and make a layup. And they found out they suck. They can't dribble. They ain't been in the fight. Reading is the perfection in the backyard by yourself, putting up the shot. That's by yourself. That's what reading is. Mentorship and apprenticeship, getting in the battle, is the other side. What people meet, they're all doing the read. But if I'm going to talk about this stuff, I can read about it, but I got to run my mouth. I got to go somewhere and apply the exercise. I got to apply the craft. I got to build it up. I got to go back so I can reflect and listen. Like, ooh, you started that. You was off topic. You missed that. You missed your points. That wasn't good. You stuttered. You cussed. You did whatever, So you
was long-winded. No, I'm playing.
So reading is the equivalent of practice and mastery. Apprenticeship and mentorship, getting in the fight in the mud,
right,
is the game. That's the game speed. That's why school is not, because it's structured. You know what's coming. We read this book, stuff about this book, but all y'all know, y'all professional endeavors, nothing works like that. Right. You're gonna see stuff you never seen before. Life gonna come at you. Right. The car gonna break down. Somebody have an accident. The bill's gonna be locked, but you got a client. These things are, so how do you figure it out? Problem solving. These are missing links. So that's what I'm gonna do. Reading is like the practice of mastery. So once you start getting the craft, then you start reading. The reading gives you the mastery to be able to do. So I think you need the two coupled. Apprenticeship with reading. Because reading ain't nothing but you just putting up a bunch of shots and you look good.
Right.
Because you can read about all the cars in the world. You a hell of an auto mechanic with a book. You book, that's a so-and-so engine bar. All right, get in there and fix it. Make it work. Now, wait a minute. Now, the book didn't say it was going to be like this. Somebody, where is this at? Oh, I didn't know they changed it.
Yep.
8 years old. Things evolve. So it's coupled with that. You know, the reading is putting up the shots, apprenticeship, and getting in the mud and trying it. You got to try it. You ain't going to never be ready. How you going to be ready to be something you've never been before? You don't know what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Fields, we could go on and on and on. We have to have you back. I hope that you will come back for a part 2 to visit with us again. Yes. In closing, I would love it if you would share with everybody about your organization, the Books for Bruises, and how to reach out to you and support you. And we'll also put that information in the chat. But please let everybody know about your organization and how they can support you.
Yes. I created a program called Books of Bruises, Learn Overcoming Violence Every Day. Shameless plug. I got the hoodie. Can y'all see the hoodies? I'm working on the hoodies. In May, we're going to drop. I got the love on the sleeve with the crowd. You can't really see it that good. But
touching that phone.
I'm telling you.
It's so sensitive.
Literacy, y'all been hearing me?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. So literacy is the understanding of a discipline. So you have human literacy, you have financial literacy, you have environmental literacy, you have faith literacy, you have all these different literacies. So what Books of Bruises does is fill the missing link between what you get in school, what your parents give you, what your mentors give you, and then brings it all together for how does this work in real life? How do we produce successful young men? How do we have successful young ladies that have identity, self-worth, value, understand their purpose? Because this can be done at any age.
Awesome.
I love that.
Or something, and they know all the president's names and all their middle names or something. Or they can name all the states and the capitals. And everybody be like, ooh, look at that. That ain't impressive. If you were to apply that to your child could do that too. They just didn't apply that to their child. Children are amazing. And as you get older, you start losing the courage to imagine, the courage to think you can do it. And this is what mentorship and books do. They bring that back to you. You get that childlike joy from learning, that childlike joy from trying new things and look at the mouth. So Books of Bruises supplies that need, fills that gap. If you want to donate, we got Cash App, the money sign, Books of Bruises. Also, we have a Facebook page. Books of Bruises Facebook page. You can go there, get that. So, I think I didn't talk. I ran my mouth. Oh, I want to tell Lisa. Lisa, thank you. When Lisa didn't know me, but she had heard through Mr. Fleming through the interview, Lisa believed and invested in me and in my future. She wrote a letter for me to the parole board about my influence. That was huge, and I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thank you. And that investment is gone billionfold. It's gone billion times. So that's a good investment.
She said thank you. She put the praying hands on there.
Yes.
That's she
awesome.
She does this. If you see her in person when she gets stuff like that, she'll be like, thank you with the praying hands. That's what that is. She says she can't wait to meet you as well.
Yes.
And I'm gonna put in all of us.
Thank you, Valerie.
Going into the YouTube page, I'm gonna put it in the description where you can donate to Books for Bruisers. Excuse me. The web page, not the web page, the Facebook page, the Cash App. I'm gonna put all that in the description for the YouTube page. So y'all definitely go check the replay on the YouTube page.
Something. If you want me to run my mouth, if you are a group of concerned citizens and you want me to talk in person, on YouTube, on Skype, on whatever, call me 440-836-2062. I'll be there. I'll talk.
All right.
That was my dog. He was trying to get your number too. He was gonna call you.
Chiming in.
You're doggy approved as well, Louis.
Yes,
So there you go.
I told you, dog. I used to watch what's his name, Caesar Milan, whatever. The dog whisper. They got a communication too.
Oh yes, Caesar. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much, and we look forward to part 2.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you again so much for coming.
I'm sorry, I'm cussing.
You're fine. You're fine.
It was a little one.
It's in the Bible. The word you said is in the Bible.
Yeah, it's just a little one.
You're fine.
All right, y'all.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Again.
All right, everyone. What a show. What a show. Please, like Miss Kimberly said, go back and watch the replay. I'm going to go back and watch it myself because he was spitting so much knowledge that it was hard to catch it all. So many quotes and things that I had to write down. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. We will see you again next week.
Go to our YouTube page.
YouTube page. Subscribe and like and comments. Miss Lisa Adams, of course, you better go to that YouTube page and drop. He can cuss on the YouTube page. Bye, everybody.
Bye.